Hey, I'm Juan Esteban Garcia, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to send bulk WhatsApp messages. And this is pretty cool because with the update that WhatsApp recently released and with what they call the WhatsApp Business Cloud API, we now have the ability to send multiple messages at once. And so if you ever wanted to send, let's say 50 or 100 or 500 or 1,000 messages to your customers and to all your clients on WhatsApp, then this is the way to do it. If you ever wanted to let people know about your offer or about a new sale that is coming up in a few weeks, then pay attention because this is going to help you a lot. Now, before we get started, I do want to thank you all for all the messages and the different comments and all the feedback that I've received from you, because I know that all of you have learned a lot with this video series that I've been recording. And in the last two videos, I was telling you about the new API, and in the second video, I was also telling you about how to send and receive WhatsApp messages. But I know that some of you haven't been able to take advantage of this because those videos I show you some very technical concepts that I know can be somewhat complicated for all of you. And some of you have written to me asking if it's possible to hire my company to build a custom implementation for their business because you want to be able to have an interface that you can use to send this kind of messages and all those things. But the truth is that fortunately for us, we are at the moment pretty busy with a lot of different projects that we are working on, and so it is very difficult for us to accept new clients at the moment. But I had a conversation with my team because I know that this is something that is going to be a game changer for your business, and I was discussing this with my team and trying to figure out a way to help you all. And what we decided to do was to develop a new web application that is going to basically give you access to all these different features. And so, for example, if you ever wanted to send a WhatsApp campaign, or for example, let's say that you want to schedule a campaign, and let's say that you're going to say 100 messages, but you want to schedule it, let's say for next Sunday at 3 p.m., then this app will give you the ability to do all those things. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because in this video I'm going to show you, and in the other videos basically what I do is show you the exact implementation. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this yourself. But if you want to have access to this application that will basically save you all the headache and all the work of developing something yourself or hiring a team of developers to do this, and instead just take advantage of this new app that we are developing, then what I encourage you to do is go to the link that you're going to find below this video, and it will take you to a page where you will be able to join the waiting list. And so just click on the link below and you will see a form. You will just have to fill it out and you will be part of our waiting list. And as soon as the application is released and available, then we will let you know and you will be the first person to know. Okay, so having said that, let's actually get started and let me show you how to send bulk WhatsApp messages. Get ready. Okay, so as you can see, I'm already here on the Facebook developers website, which you can find at developers.facebook.com, and I'm going to go to my apps, and you see here that I have a couple of test apps that I've been developing. I'm going to use this one. And the first thing that I want you to know, and this is very important, and this is something that I also mentioned in the previous videos, which if you haven't watched, then I encourage you to do it because I do explain some previous concepts that you need to know before doing what I'm going to show you in this video. But in case you already watched them, or in case you are already familiar with this interface, what I want you to know is that in order to initiate a conversation with a customer, you have to use something called a message template. And the reason why you have to do that, and the reason why you're not able to start with, let's say, any random message that you want to send, is because Facebook basically wants to protect people, and they don't want people to use WhatsApp to send spam messages. And so they make you go through an authorization and an approval and review process. And if I go here to message templates, then you are going to see that by default there are some messages that WhatsApp creates for you. In my case, I recently sent this message template, and when you create a message template, I'm actually going to show you the template first. So let me click here, and you see that there is this message that says we have an upcoming promotion starting next week, everything 90% off. Just kidding, 10% off. I mean, this is just a random message that I sent, so I want you to know that I'm not really using this. But you see that I have an image and we have an upcoming promotion starting next week, etc. And so when you create a message, you see that I have the ability to do it in different languages. In my case, I created a Spanish and an English version. But what I want you to know is that if I try, for example, to create a new message template, let's say that I'm going to say an alert update and my test template. In this case, I'm going to create it in English. Let's actually use English, United States, continue. You see that here I have the ability to do things such as, if I want to, for example, choose the header. And so let's say that in the header I'm going to send an image. You see that here in the preview, it shows me how it's going to look. Or if I want to send a video or a document, I have the ability to do that. Here in the body, you see that I can say something like, hey, and I'm going to add a variable. So let's say that I want to replace it with the customer's name. So hey, Mr. Smith, did you know that next week, blah, blah, and then in the footer, click here now, or something along those lines. No, click the button below. And then here, you just click where it says call to action, for example, if you want to trigger a quick reply. Let's actually go with call to action. So I'm going to put something like buy now, and no, actually buy now, and here I'm just going to put a website. Okay, good. So as soon as I do that, if I want to add another language, I have the ability to do that. But I want you to know that here I just need to add a sample, and here I can pick any image. This one, Mr. Smith, because you have to send a sample of this. I'm not actually going to send it, but if I click here where it says submit, it will show me here, instead of saying approved, it will say in review. So I just want you to keep, or pending review, I think. So I just want you to keep that in mind, because it does take a while. I mean, it can take a few hours or something to approve this message. But once it is approved, then you can use this template to initiate a conversation. Okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to open Postman, and as you can see, I already have here a couple of collections. One is called Cloud API, and this is the collection that we copied in the previous video. And again, if this is new to you, just watch the previous video and it will show you everything you need to know. But we're going to use this collection that we have here in one of the endpoints, and one of the requests. And one of the requests that it has here is one to send a text message. And so you see here that we have a text message, and we have the template that we're going to use, which is hello world. But before I try to send this message, let me actually go to environment. I'm gonna make sure that I have a good access token. So let me refresh it. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, we're good. And now I'm going to use this phone number. So you see that this is the recipient phone number. This is the one that I will be using for my tests. And you see that if I try to send a text message, let's actually see what happens. Yeah, you see that I just received the notification. Good. This seems to be working just fine. So what I'm going to do now is, you see that we're sending here a template, but we are not customizing any of the content. And actually, if I come here, you see that we're using the hello world template, but you see that that one doesn't have any parameters or any variables that we can replace. So what I'm going to do is I actually prepare in advance these two requests that you are seeing here, and you see that that basically is just a template. But I am going to show you, in this case, we're going to use this one that says sample purchase feedback. So let me show you what it is. You see that it says, thank you for purchasing so-and-so. We value your feedback and would like to learn more about your experience. So I'm going to cancel. And then I'm also going to show you the other one, which is a sample shipping confirmation which says your package has been shipped. It will be delivered in X number of days. So you see that we have this curly braces that you're seeing here gives us the option to replace this with real information that we're going to provide. And so this is what I'm going to show you. We're going to start with this template, but then if we go to this URL, if we go to developers.facebook.com, and then we go to the WhatsApp Business Cloud API documentation, and then to reference, then to messages. Here you see that we have the template object, and basically this is the documentation, and it shows you everything you need to know about customizing the payload of your request. But here I'm going to go actually to examples and more specifically to the message template section, and I'm going to grab this sample request. I'm going to put it here, and let's start to customize it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this variable with this, and because this is coming from the environment variables that I have here, and this is something that we also covered in the previous video. And so you see that here we have a template, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the template name with in this case with this one. Let's start with the sample shipping confirmation, and in the language code I'm going to use NUS because you see that here I have English US. And now in this case we are not passing, well, it's actually because this one is going to contain more information, so let's actually use this one. So sample purchase feedback, all good. Now we need to pass an image. So you see that here I have the option to change the link. So I'm going to paste the link here that we use in the video, that we're going to use for this video. And you see that here, so this was the header section. So basically we are customizing this part right here. Then we're going to do this with the body. We're going to do the exact same thing. So here's the body, and here are the parameters. So in this case, this only accepts one parameter. And in this case, well, you see that there are different types of parameters. We can use currency, we can use date, time. In my case, I'm only going to use the text type. So I'm going to put something like, it says thank you for purchasing our winter collection, or whatever, it doesn't really matter. And now for the button, there's really no option for us to change the call to action. In this case it is static. It can be dynamic also, but in this case we're going to go with the static version. I am going to remove this because there's only one parameter, and let's give this a try. Let's see if it works. If I click here, it does work. Awesome. So you see that here is the image, and if I change the URL, then you will see obviously a different image. All good. So let's do this. I'm actually going to duplicate this, and I'm going to copy this example that I already have here. It's basically the same. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to change everything because it will take more time to do that, but it's basically the same process that we did here. Okay, and let me actually rename. So this is going to be purchase feedback, and for this one I am going to use shipping update. Alrighty, so I'm gonna save this, and I'm going to save this one too. Okay, it's already saved. Okay, so now that we have this, and actually let's try to send this other message, and you see that it does come here. Your package has been shipped. It will be delivering for business days. Awesome. Okay, so now we know how to send the template, but let's actually talk about automating this process, because as I said in the video, you're going to learn how to send bulk messages. And so let's say that we're going to send this for 50 people. So before we do that, we need to use something called tests, and basically a test is a way for you to know for you to test the outcome of a specific action. So in this case, you see that every time that we make a request, it says here 200 OK. And this 200 OK is just the server response, and it lets us know that everything went well and that the message was sent. And so I'm going to click here where it says status code is 200, and if I try again, then you see that here where it says test results, then you see that it says status code is 200. But now let's see what happens if I change this to, for example, header to, I don't know, header 2. You see that it gives us an error, and instead it returns a 400 baht request message, letting us know that the request didn't go well and that there was a problem with the message and with the payload that you sent. So let's put this back to the way it was, and we want to do the same thing for these two requests. We want to know if it went well or if there was an error. How do we do that? Well, let's actually change the test, and let's get rid of this, and let's actually apply the same test to the entire collection. So in this case, the collection will be this that you're seeing here. So I'm going to put this thingy right here, and now basically this test will apply to all the requests that we have here. And so now that we have that, the next thing that we want to do is we want to run a collection. But now, actually what I'm going to do is I need to delete all these other requests, okay? And I'm going to put this one here, perfect. And you see now we only have these two requests. So what I want to do now is I want to run a collection, and basically when you run a collection, you run all the requests that you have here. And so here it shows you the order, and I can reorder this if I want to. In my case, it's okay, I want to do it this way. And here I need to select a file, and so this is going to be like a small database, and I actually have a comma separated file, and it basically contains all the phone numbers that I'm going to use in the numbers that I want to message. So how do we do that? You can use just a regular spreadsheet for this, and I actually prepared a spreadsheet that I will be using in this video. And so if I click here, then you see that I have this file, and yeah, you see that there are some weird numbers here, but you see that these are actually like real phone numbers. And so you see that I have some numbers here, and these are the numbers that I'm going to contact. And so you can create a spreadsheet yourself, and you can put as many numbers as you want here, and that's good. I think we're all set. But actually, one last check that you should do is just to open this in a plain text editor, and you see that, for example, in my case, it actually broke the format that I was using, because that's the problem with Excel. But once you do that, once you save the spreadsheet, you should actually make sure that everything is well formatted. And so you see here that I have the phone numbers that I will be using for this test. And so if I click here where it says select file, I'm going to use this. And if I click here where it says preview, it shows me here this recipient phone number. And by the way, make sure that you call this column recipient phone number, because this will replace the value that you are seeing here, recipient phone number. And so it has to match the variable name. So let me go back to where I was, run collection, and I already have everything here. So we're all set. So in this case, I only have 4 numbers that I'm going to contact. Actually, one of those it's a fake phone number, and so I should actually get an error. But if you have 50 phone numbers, 100 phone numbers, it will be the exact same process. So I'm just going to click here where it says run cloud API, and you see that it starts. Awesome. You see that this one went well, the other one went well, and the last one, as I already said, didn't exist. And you see, well, you see that here are the 2 new messages. This is really cool. And so you see that we were able to automate the entire process, and now we are able to send WhatsApp campaigns. We are able to send messages in bulk, as many as we want to, or actually, let me be clear, not as many as you want to, but as many as WhatsApp lets you send. And keep in mind that if you're going to send, I think if you want to send more than 50 messages, you have to verify your business account first. So do keep that in mind, because otherwise you will just hit the limit that you're able to send per day. I think you're only able to send 50 per day if you haven't verified your account. So make sure that you do that. If you are going to send more than that. You can also see here what went wrong if you click here in this arrow, and you see that it is basically complaining that one of the requests and it's failing, and that was expected because that's what I wanted it to do. Alright, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video to learn all of this information. I know that this is very useful, so please make sure that you are using this in your business, because as I said before, this is a game changer. This is something that if you use it wisely, you can literally scale and grow your business tremendously. So make sure that you do that. And also, if you're interested in the app that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, just click on the link below and be part of the waiting list, and I will make sure that you are the first person to learn about this as soon as it is ready. Okay, thanks again, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.